Hello, witches! Grab your notes because it's Wednesday. It is time for the Witches Movie Coven. Yay! We howl, we bark, we hackle, we do all sorts of things, including watch movies. We are witches, yes, real witches, and we talk about movies and witches in movies. Yes, real movies, not necessarily real witches, but they place them on TV and in film. This week's movie, we are doing Burn, Witch, Burn from, I believe, 1966?
Two.
62. 10 minutes ago. 1962. I'm the second one of the family. My name is Patti Negri. I am one of your hosts. You might know me from my regular podcast, The Witching Hour, from Ghost Adventures, from Sam and Coldy, from Elton Castee Overnight, from Bathroom Walls Across America. But let me pass this on to my beautiful co-hosts. One just disappeared into darkness. So let's start out with Richard-Lael.
I am Richard-Lael. Richard-Lael is one name, not two. If I were just Richard, I'd be eight. That's right. I am known as the Gentleman Psychic. I'm a psychic and a medium. I used to be a psychic and a small, and Jason will finish the rest of that. Oh, wait, never mind. I already said that. Never mind. I am known as the Gentleman Psychic. Before we go too much further, thank you, everyone, for all of the likes, the comments, the shares. All of those comments help us to continue. So like us, do that. Also, if you want to sleep with me, you can go right over here to this QR code mystery control. You can get into Patty's panties right over here. You can dress like Jason and be a bro witch. You can read Heather's books. You can get quotes like Courtney. You can be scared and alone. All of that right over here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And let's moving on to our golden hair lock with the curly locks, Jason Mankey.
I am Jason Mankey. I am the author of 10 books for Llewellyn. This is my most well-known book, The Horned God of the Witches. That's about all I have to say tonight.
Thank you very much. Now, moments ago, we had our one and only Heather Greene. She went back black and she disappeared. Hopefully she will be back soon. But we have one of our regular and most special and most favorite guest hosts, Scarlett Amaris.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Scarlett Amaris. I am a screen and television writer. I've also written a couple of novels and I lecture on mythology. So I am thrilled to be here once again. And you know what? I love this movie, so I can't wait to talk about it.
Okay, perfect. And hopefully Heather comes back. It was so weird how she went black and she was gone.
You know what they say?
I wasn't going there.
Black. We understand what that is. So, all right, let's moving on back to the movie. Now, hopefully you guys all watched it. 1962 movie. She's back. Heather. Okay, let's take it over to Heather. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Maybe a witch put a spell on Heather.
Heather, can you hear us? Heather, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Hang on one second. Hang on.
Heather, can you see us?
Can you hear me?
Heather, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Are you there, Heather?
Heather, come back.
How can she be
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear us? Yes.
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 Yay. For whatever reason, the camera I have, the fancy one, does not like our Restream program. I have no problem with it in any other program except for this one. So we're going to have a talking to after and figure this one out because I don't get it. So I'm on my junkie camera. So I look even more weird. But what are we up to? What am I doing?
You're name yourself because we all did it.
Oh, okay. Hi, I am Heather Greene, if you haven't figured it out now. And I am the author of Lights, Camera, Witchcraft. I actually have my book in front of me. There it is. And it is the definitive guide to witches in American movies and television. I am also an editor at Llewellyn, working with wonderful witchy authors, and a journalist covering all things occult. And also, I was involved on Dollcraft, which I'm not holding a copy right here, but that is Patti's great book. So I was able to work on that, and I was blessed to get asked to write the foreword, so thank you. And I am also a doll person and a member of this coven, and I'm looking forward to talking about this movie tonight. So thank you for your patience with my camera.
Oh, you're welcome. We're glad to have you back. We were really scared there for a second. You went black, and then it was gone.
There are a lot of dolls in this room right now, so it might be.
Maybe you need to, one of your Black Phillips should be the keeper of the dolls, like a warding of some sort. We should have warding I can't even talk. All right. No blackout. Black Phillip. All right. So hopefully you all watch Burn Witch Burn. But just in case one of you didn't, Richard-Lael, do you have your beautiful, always thorough, beginning to end synopsis of this lovely old film?
Today, I actually do. I think you might be pleasantly surprised. I paid attention. I didn't fall asleep. I didn't have to Google it. Story is a professor and his wife have moved to a small English town. The professor is against superstition, against witchcraft, against magic, and he is of the system that if one simply says, "I do not believe," it removes the power from all witchcraft. Unbeknownst to him, his wife actually is a witch, and she said it in so many ways, in every way possible, and he doesn't believe. And being the 60s, and instead of saying, "Okay, you're a witch, I'll let you be what you are," he forced her to dispose of all of her talismans, all of her witchcraft, all of her spells. Instead of being like Darren Stevens in Bewitched, who also tried to get rid of the magic part, but still kind of benefit from the magic, he didn't want to do that. He didn't want anything to do with it. So as he is having her burn all of her talismans and magic supplies, his picture falls into the fire. And she begs him, "Please don't, please don't, please let me get your picture, please don't." Well, as it turns out, there is a series of things that start happening, from the phone line going strange to the lights going out to a thunderous banging on the front door. And she, the wife, has begged him, "Please don't." She goes upstairs because she's an hysterical woman, because it's 1962. So she goes upstairs to bed, and the phone rings, and he gets this mysterious call from a strange woman that he doesn't recognize the voice. And she is declaring her love to him, and he cannot figure out who it is, so he hangs up. Meanwhile, back at the school, we find out that the next day, all of these things start going awry. All of the protections are off. He nearly gets run over by a lorry, as they would say in the UK. He has a pupil whom has threatened him. And then the reason that the pupil has threatened him is because the girl that he had a crush on had said that he was essaying her. And one thing led to the other, and they were all called to the office. And as it turns out, you go through all of this, he ends up by figuring out that there's something strange. He doesn't know what's happening. The wife then decides, I have to take the charge. I have to be the one. I have to sacrifice myself for my husband because I love him. He has so much that he has to offer, and I'm just a woman in 1962 with no power. So she ends up by getting on a bus, and she leaves, and he pursues her, trying to get her attention on the bus, and is nearly flattened by an oncoming lorry. But he turns in time, and his little car goes off off the road, but he is fine. As it turns out, he tries to figure out what he can do with magic, and he's trying to call the wife back, and he has to go to the city of the dead. Meanwhile, the wife has walked into the ocean, into the sea, to be drowned. And as he is doing the spell, she comes back to him standing at the tombs, and she's holding a tape. Well, while she is in this sort of trance, she comes out of it in time to threaten to kill her husband with a knife. But there was something strange about the way that she walked, which made him understand that there might actually be another woman who is behind this. It was not the pupil, but rather it was the secretary of the school who was looked over for a job because they hired this man. As he goes into the office, she has come up the stairs. He's looking for evidence to tie her to this thing, and she performs some witchcraft. She says, "Oh, you don't really believe in this. You don't believe in this." And she sets the house on fire with the wife inside. And then, as we find out through hypnosis, he believes that the eagle has come to life, and the eagle perched above the statue of the eagle perched above the chapel door. It's come to life, and it has come to attack him. And he's gone into the school and into his classroom, where he is cornered at his chalkboard with the words, "I do not believe," emblazoned in chalk. And in his panic and his fear, he hits that chalkboard and he slides down. And when he stands up, the "not" portion is erased, and the board says, "I do believe." As he finds out the house was being burnt down, the wife escapes. He ends up by getting back to the wife in time. Nobody knows what really happened, except for the police chief say that it was just the electric heater, the gas heater that caught the house on fire. So meanwhile, back at the school, the husband of the secretary has come in, and he goes to close the chapel doors, under which the eagle rests. And the secretary says, no, please don't. No. No matter how many times she protests, the husband says, no, I'll go and close the chapel doors. And in the end, that stone eagle, which had sat upon those walls for who knows how long, had decided in that precise moment to fall upon the secretary and crush her to death, ending in the final words, "Do you believe?" That's it.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you very much. Very thorough, Richard-Lael. You watched it. What a concept. Most of the characters are there and everything. Okay. Just in case there might be a little bit more information to this film, Heather, do you have 5 more things perhaps?
Yeah, I've got some things I can talk about. And there's some interesting things about this movie that you may not know. Well, first of all, let me do the basics. Night of the Eagle, as it was called in England, released as Burn, Witch, Burn in the United States. So it had a little more of a salacious horror film feel, which this is a horror movie. It was shot in only 6 weeks, cost about £50,000. You guys can do the math on that, but that was in 1961, 62 when it was filmed. They had a little trouble with it because they had to, the property was owned by Universal, so they kind of put together the whole thing and then eventually got the rights to do it. It's not really, and I'll talk about adaptation in a minute. It's directed by Sidney Hayers, and the script was written by Richard Matheson and Charles Beaumont. Beaumont is a macabre, known for that. Richard Matheson, who apparently is a family friend of our producers, just to let you know, he was known for a lot of this kind of stuff. He did Twilight Zone things, and he did he worked on the script for more recently I Am Legend. So his name is across a lot of things. Go look him up. Look at all the things he's done. So this and one other small thing I want to point out, because I'm not doing cast with this, is I would like to point out, and this is really for Richard-Lael. Now, someone already mentioned Peter Wyngarde being the greatest actor. I saw somebody put that up there. Let's see. Here's the cast right here. Peter Wyngarde, he is our Professor Norman Taylor in this movie, so hard to miss. He's in most of it. There he is. I do not believe he's been in a ton of things. You can look him up as well. And just to point out, just for Richard-Lael, he was Clytus in Flash Gordon. So
yes. Yes.
So I like to point out.
Familiar.
Thought he looked familiar. I like to point out how these actors are in films that we've already seen or witchy films. So that is one. So I would just needed to point that small fact out. And you can look him up for all the other things he's known for his greatness. So next I need to move to the origins. The origins of this story are Conjure Wife. And I have the original. This is actually a 53 printing. The original was printed in 43 in a science fiction rag called not Unforgiven. Hold on a second. Where's the name of it? Something. Anyway, it'll come to me in a second. And then it was printed as a book. It was extended. So it was successful enough that it led to several adaptations, and I'll get to that in a second. The book is written by Fritz Leiber. This is his first book. At least the original one. My paperwork today is all out of order. So Fritz Leiber, it is called a classic of modern horror fiction, and it is more salacious than the movie. It is more evocative of witchcraft than the movie. The interesting things are, if you go to read it, you'll find words like Widdershins in it. What? You'll find words like numerology, astrology. You'll also find discussions of black and white magic, Tibetan magic, golden bout. Yes. Are you raising?
It's called The Conjure Wife.
The Conjure Wife. Yeah. What did I say? Yeah. Conjure Witch. I said Conjure.
Did you say Conjure Wife? I thought that you couldn't find it for a while, and then I was
No. It was originally released as part of a magazine called Something, and I can't remember the name of what it was released. It was released inside another magazine, and then it was published in a longer format as the actual full book, Conjure Wife. So you can read, if you go through it, it starts right from the beginning, and it talks about, on page 13, he's already talking about, let's see, in the third drawer, he drew blank, but hold on a second. With a soft thud, Totem landed on the table and began to sniff inquisitively at the bottle, springing away as Norman plunged his hand into the drawer. Blah, blah, blah. He talks about all the drawers being filled with bits and pieces marked with people's names. He says vervain and vinma and devil stuff and labels and bits of lodestone. This is all filled throughout this book of evidence of magic that has come from what she's learned from their various trips as him being a professor of anthropology or archaeology or psychology or whatever hell he is. So the Conjure Wife.
According to the people, the magazine is called The Unknown.
The Unknown. Thank you.
This is by Lola's Moon 5585.
Thank you. Yes, it is The Unknown. I could not
issue of Unknown Worlds.
Yes, it is. I couldn't remember the name of it. It was published there first as a shortened version. So Conjure Wife, you can get it. You can still read it. Here's the 1953 printing. Now let's move on to what happens. Let's talk about that very beginning introduction. When you start this movie, it has a voiceover. That is a really interesting, only done for this movie, created for this movie because they wanted to do something really different and be a little bit opening. It is the opening. I'm sorry, my paperwork is all screwed up today. It is done, but it is the it is seriously, I'm being hexed tonight or something, Courtney. So the opening is done. The voiceover is Paul Frees. Paul Frees, if you don't know his voice, is the voiceover of a lot of the Rankin and Bass Christmas specials. He's in there. He's Boris in not Boris and Natasha in Bullwinkle movies or shows. He is the voiceover in many Disney films. He actually did some of the rides, including some of the Pirate of the Caribbean. I believe his face is on a bust in the haunted house with him repeating something. So
He did the narration for that. The whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So he is everywhere. So he did the narration for that very beginning part. And there was another one he had that was super interesting, and I wrote it down, but apparently my notes are all over the place today. So that is another interesting part of this movie is Paul Frees. Yes.
Does he do the narration at the Salem Witch Museum when you go there? Because there were a lot of Disney people who did that. And when I heard his voice at the start of the movie, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Heather. I swear that he is the one who does like that witch trial narration at that museum.
You can look because he has such a long list of stuff that he's done that it may be the fact. So the one that I wrote down also is he was in The Last Unicorn, so he did voices for characters. A lot of the animation we know. It's a recognizable voice for MGM, for Lance, for Rankin and Bass, for everybody. So that was pretty cool. This was done for this film. It's not part of the book. So that's number 3. So now let's go to the other films. So get your pen out, write these down, go watch them because it's interesting to compare. That's what I base my entire film education and study about is comparing films across time and across platforms and adaptations. So when this book came out, it was 1943. The very first but some of you guys have your pens. The very first adaptation of this and why Universal owned it was a 1944 film called Weird Woman. I've seen this film. It is different than this movie. It was filmed in an American coded system, censored, as well as 1940s. Very different time than 1962 England. So it has a lot different balance, and I'll talk about that in a second. That is originally a Lon Chaney movie. It was part of his series of films that he was doing, Inner Sanctum films. 1944, Weird Woman. Lon Chaney Jr. is in it. The next one, skipping this one over, of course, is a 1980 film called, there it is, there's Weird Woman. And I'll talk a little bit more about the misogyny and racism and all this stuff. That's number 5. That's the fun one. The next film is called Witches Brew, 1980, starring Terry Garr and Lana Turner. And this is Lana Turner's very last film. She died shortly after. She is the coven leader. And this, of course, is balanced very differently. There's more focus on the women. There's ends differently. The balance of how they tell the story about the women and the competition in the university and them trying to help their husbands, the relationship to witchcraft, all of that stuff is very different because this is 1980 versus 1962 versus 1944. And that again is what my study, my book, and all of the study I do in film, the cultural studies I do is about. It's about looking at adaptations across time and how they change. And these change significantly. We saw in this film a lot of misogyny, but it was 1962. So you had a lot of pushback from the women practicing witchcraft. You have way more misogyny in 1944. And in 1944, the relationship to witchcraft is very different. And he says at the very end of the film, and I talk about this in the book, chapter 5, if anybody has it, you can read all about it. He actually asked her at the end of the film, and I got to find the quote, Paula, will you try and believe? Rather than the end of this film, where we see, do you believe? And you do believe, and he does believe because witchcraft is real. At the end of the 1944 film, witchcraft is not real. It's all superstition. Paula, will you try to believe that? Paula is the main female character. Yes, Norman. And that's the end of the story. So it ends without witchcraft. It ends with it being just a woman's insane fantasy. 1980 ends differently. That's Terry Garr. We have the misogyny, but yes, this is after the women's second movement. So there it is, Witches Brew. So in we see this though, the story, a thread throughout this is this conflict between a male world of regulating science, disbelief, and a female world where there's belief and insanity and magic and passion. So it's this kind of weird dichotomy, and it again, it occurs in all the films, but the balance of how it deals with that is very different. And my favorite quote here is to demonstrate this is he says, the husband says to her, what's her name? The main character, if we were to investigate all the strange rituals performed by women based on intuition, half the female population would be in an asylum. That's something that says it all, right? You must have been very bored. And I love that he says that, because that's one of the threads of witchcraft films one of the threads is bored women turn to witchcraft. And we've seen that with other movies that we've talked about. There are a lot of bored women. They need to turn to witchcraft. We've seen this thread. This is the premise of my entire book, man. This is how witchcraft is an allegory for women's power and our relationship to gender roles. And this is shown in this film across the time. So I urge you, watch them. The racism, you have to take a shower after you see them, because at least 1944 bases everything on them going to the South Seas. And she is raised by a pagan religion, and she learns all this and brings it to the United States and invades the United States with this pagan religion. Of course, they use the word voodoo all over the place. It is horrifying. There's racism, there's misogyny. It's in this book. It's in the book. It's in the 1980. There you go. I have a whole section of my book.
Heather,
Am I fading?
You're fading in and out. Your mouth is not matching your words really good, but we'll get it back. We will get it back. Thank you. That was beautiful. I learned a lot right there, right now, that I did not know. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Who wants to start? Jason?
Well, I'm in the box, so I guess I should probably start. You know, I always have a lot of trepidation when I see that we're doing an old movie, an old black and white movie. Is this going to be relevant? How badly are they going to botch witchcraft? I'm not even waiting for Wands Up. This was great. This was so fun, and the performances are really great. We've already talked about Wyngarde, and if you don't know anything about Wyngarde, there's like a Wikipedia page that's 8,000 words just about how old he is and where he was born. He was kind of an enigma in his own way. But like the performances in this movie are great. I really feel like there was some research done into magical things. This looked like the kind of magic that we would do. Yes.
He befriended Lovecraft, but I could not find anything specific about him studying deeper than that. But maybe.
Are you talking about Fritz Leiber? I can tell you.
Okay.
Fritz Leiber did study, and he also wrote another book called Our Lady of Darkness, which is another fantastic kind of witchcraft, weird fiction conglomeration. But he had quite an interest in witchcraft, and he had quite influence over a lot of different movies, including Suspiria. Like, he was friends with Daria Nicolodi. They worked on a film together before Suspiria. So he talks about the Three Mothers trilogy in Our Lady of Darkness. So he's had his little hand in things that we still see today for a very long time. He's an excellent writer who had a very interesting and fairly deep knowledge of witchcraft and the occult. I think he's sadly overlooked a lot of times today, but was kind of the big guy in his heyday.
Thank you.
There's also a scene towards the end of the movie where Tansy, the female protagonist, is walking into the ocean in order to kind of sacrifice her for her husband. And all I could think about was shades of Dion Fortune's the Sea Priestess, when LaFay Morgan, a character in that book, kind of walks into the ocean and then sort of disappears forever until the sequel Moon Magic. But I thought of that. I don't know if it was related, just sort of an accident. But again, I just loved that this looked like things that witches do, which I did not expect from a movie from 1962.
I agree. I'm not going to wait for my wands up or down. I absolutely loved this film for so many reasons. I loved it about. It reminded me very much of the writings of Shirley Jackson. It reminded me a little bit of Alfred Hitchcock. It reminded me a little bit of Lovecraft. It reminded me a little bit of the noir films of the 40s. Like there were, and then the magic was so dead on. The little guards she had in the lampshade, she had a little figure that she was searching for, and she finds it in the fringe, and she takes this little tassel down and she burns it. And of course her husband upstairs is going, what are you know what's happening, what are you doing? Nothing. I'm nothing. She's looking for these talismans because she senses that there is something dark afoot, and the husband is upstairs rummaging for his pajamas, and she's pretending because it's 1962 and she has to kind of hide. As a case in point, though, what I tell my students, my pupils, the people who learn magic from me, is that sometimes, even in 2026, we have to hide our magic. We have to hide what we do. We have to hide in the shadows, as the case were. That being said, sometimes, and even Tansy sort of alluded to this, oh, it's just a souvenir. Oh, it's just a rock. Oh, it's just, I like it. It makes me happy. And sometimes when we live with other people, whether it be people who are afraid of witchcraft, or people who are of a certain Abrahamic tradition that are afraid of witches, or everything is demonic and everything is evil and everything is the satanic panic all over again, sometimes we have to hide like Tansy did. And I found that to be brilliant.
Thank you. Okay, so none of us are hiding how much we like this movie. I love this movie. And yes, all the witchcraft, everything you guys are saying, it's like, I've made that, I've done that, I've had that, I've done this, and how he's finding it. And again, I thought the performances were amazing as well. But I'm not that familiar with this actor, but what a hottie for the day. Oh my God. Those outfits, those high-waisted pants.
I was lusting over him all the entire time, I have to admit.
Tailored shirts and the professor. I would be that little college girl having the crush on the big old professor and things. I felt everything they went through. I felt like when the girl accused him, it's like, oh my God, the Me Too moments back in 62 and all that. And I totally got involved with every single character, which was great. So I'm watching it. I am involved, which I like to do anyway, not reviewing it as we go. And then so involved in it that all of a sudden, in the middle of my dark and spooky house, I'm upstairs all by myself, my smoke alarm goes off right when the lightning was going off in the movie, right when the opening up. I am screaming in my living room all by myself, clasping on to Black Phillip, going, this is one of the best movies we have done since I can remember. There's a hottie, there's a beautiful woman, there's all this social whatever, there's amazing witchcraft, there's the evil woman, beautiful scenery, the ocean, the rocks. I'm like, if I'd been there where the shoreline and stuff in England, I was trying to find something negative I could talk about, but I honestly couldn't. Yes, it was a movie of the day. So this is whoever picked this movie, kudos.
You picked it. You picked it.
Wait, who picked it?
Patti.
Apparently Patti. Yeah.
Patti picked it. Well, I have my moments, but wow, I'm so glad I picked it, because really, this is of all the movies that we watch and we talk about all this stuff, I got involved in it and I loved it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So whoever did design their costumes, the makeup, the lighting, the sets, the props, kudos.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's like you can't fault Fritz Leiber and Richard Matheson, who also another genius writer and screenwriter. I mean, just the talent behind this is really outstanding writing. And I think that it shows. It's almost a perfect script. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shows witchcraft in a way that is believable. I love Tansy Pitt against Flora. Like, I love that tension between the two of them. I think that's almost a little bit progressive for 1962. And it's shot beautifully. It hits all the beats beautifully. Like, there's really, I saw this, I think 25 years ago. Like, I had not seen it for a very long time. And I remember really loving it, and to revisit it again yesterday, it was like I just fell in love with it all over again. And I had forgotten that it was Fritz Leiber, who is one of my most favorite writers, and then to see that Matheson, and it's is it Charles Beaumont is the other writer too, and you know, he did a lot of Twilight Zone kind of stuff, and I think Matheson, didn't he do Trilogy of Terror? Isn't that which
He did a bunch of that
scared
stuff.
the hell out of me in my childhood. But you know, like, this is horror royalty that comes together in this film and in the writing of this. So like, you really, I mean, I guess it could have gone wrong, but it most definitely does not go wrong. This is just, it's absolutely perfection.
I'm gonna say real quick is that it does go wrong in the other two movies, so it can go wrong. And I hadn't seen this one because it's considered a British film, although it was originated in the U.S., which is why some of the acting and some of the stuff is American-like. But so it's mentioned in my book, but I didn't see it for that. So I saw the other two first. And I'm glad I saw this one now, because this one will leave a good taste. The other two do not feel like this whatsoever. You're not getting the magic the way you're getting. The evocative magic that you find in the book is in this one, not in the other two. The first one, the Lon Chaney one, is a mystery, so you're not really getting the witchcraft. That's the weird woman. You're not getting it. You're getting the misogyny. You're getting the racism. You're getting all of that stuff of the 40s. Wartime era film. It's just, you know, and then the other one's a comedy or a pseudo comedy with Terry Garr, 80s, you know, and I think their witchcraft is based on more geared toward the satanic, and it's funny, and there's moments of hilarity and weirdness to it. So they're different genres, and they just don't do what this one does. This one hits it right on the head. It captures the book the best, I think. The tone of the book, which is supposed to be horror, this captures that. I loved the noir elements in the filming. I loved seeing that, because I'm a big fan of noir. So there were definitely noir elements, which recall Hitchcock. Somebody said that. And so I thought this was a really tight movie, and I was very pleasantly surprised after having seen the other two and just being like, okay, I guess it's fun to watch.
I will say I was kind of confused whether it took place in the United States or in the UK until I see Wyngarde driving in his car, and then clearly you can see where the steering wheel is. But it is really funny, though, like how there are American accents, and the sense of place is a little different. It's not as established because of those sort of choices, right? Like the American boyfriend and then the American wife. Right. And then I found out later, too, that the antagonist, she was from Australia. So we didn't get that accent, but maybe it slips through in a few places, which might have confused even other people.
Well, it's interesting, too, that Wyngarde wasn't even the first choice. It was it was the Hammer actor, Hammer horror
Christopher
actor.
Lee.
It wasn't Christopher Lee. It was the other guy. I just blanked his name. Oh my gosh, it wasn't Christopher Lee. It was, it'll come to me.
Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing. It was supposed to be Peter Cushing, and there was a scheduling conflict. But I cannot imagine this without Wyngarde. I absolutely, I cannot.
And then Wyngarde apparently called it rubbish, but then decided to do it because he saw a car that he wanted to buy. and then he said that you should pay me this amount, which was the amount of money for the car. That's a true story, because sometimes I am also one of those people who likes to look up this weird stuff. But Wyngarde is so great in this movie. He really is. I could not imagine Peter Cushing, who, if you're not familiar with Cushing, is Moff Tarkin in Star Wars, Grand Moff Tarkin. Not that that helped, because none of you know that. Be better nerds.
I know who that is.
I'm like, I know who that
I know who Moff Tarkin is. Hold on.
All right. Thankfully, that's why the two of you are my favorite right now. That's it right there.
What?
Jaws was never my scene, and I don't like Star Wars.
Don't like Star Wars. Boom.
There he is.
There he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a younger Peter Cushing, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it worked. I mean, it worked. The cast was perfectly balanced. So this one did the book justice. I encourage you to watch the other ones, but just a warning. They're not this movie at all.
Now a warning.
Yeah, well, yeah, you wrote them down. Yes.
Our producer left us a note that says, "Can we break down more of the magic in this movie?" And if you know what sympathetic magic is, that's what you see the most in this film, which is really like attracts like. You really see it at the end with the tarot cards. This is representative of your house. This is your wife. I'm setting this on fire. And then the fire starts. But you also see it in the little bits of things that Norman, the character, throws into the fire from his wife. Like, you know, the pendant that she has with his picture in it and things, and then she throws that in the fire. But you really do see magic that works like we do magic, and that was so nice to see. It wasn't just a laser beam or a thought. There had to be work put into the magic, and the work put into it is the same thing that a lot of we modern witches put into our magic.
So let me read this from the book. So just to show how effective this is in the magic that this translated and how they did that. And so he writes, and this is on page 14, that he picks up one of his manuscripts that he wrote about superstition. And it says, it looked like the one he had lost around the house. It was 8 years ago. Besides, a formula for conjuration was a marginal notation in Tansy's script. She had written this in the book. Doesn't work. Substitute copper filings for brass. Try in dark of moon instead of full. Sounds like something someone might write in their book of shadows, right?
Yes, it does.
Wow.
Maybe from Rob, they were asking what that was in his shirt collar, and maybe that was what that was referring to. Is maybe it was the filings.
Oh, that were in.
This is early on. This is when he starts to realize, in the book, it's very early on, when he starts to realize that she's actually practicing magic. He finds more, but there's a later in the book, and I can't find it right now. He actually tries to perform something, and he says, "Do it, Widdershins." And I'm always surprised when I see things like that come up in stuff. But again, this is a book and not movies. And this 1962 version of this movie could not have been produced in the United States in 1962. If this movie had been done, if this movie had to be done, could have been done, it had to have been about 10 years later, or after the code was gone, or later than that, or now. I mean, this could be produced now, and it probably be a very effective script. Scarlett.
I know. I was like, I would love to get my hands on it.
Get on it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, I can ask my managers if it's in, if it's available. I'm sure somebody's got their hands on it.
Well, it was Universal at the time. I don't know who owns it now, but I'm looking for the Widdershins thing. Talk amongst yourselves.
It is almost in the public domain.
I know. I'm waiting
in the public domain.
I'm waiting for The Devil Rides Out to go in the public domain too, because that's another one I would love to get my hands on.
Yeah, but just another, I think, 5 years, and then we're there.
Yeah.
But yes, this would work really well today. I mean, there's nothing in this movie that I felt like, oh, this is completely antiquated and doesn't have any relevance for today. It clearly did.
Yeah.
Also, it's my favorite movie now about a man trying to get promoted at a university and the politics that go on at the university level. Will the dean allow him to be promoted? What will stand in his way? Watch their wacky adventures coming soon to Comedy Central, you know? But it has that sort of second subtext, which is funny.
And he worked at a college, so that's where that came from. But that is translated across all three movies, so you're going to see that in every movie. That's the first one. She's not really as aggressive; she's kind of meeker. But in the Terry Garr one, that's the main comedy thrust, is them trying to use magic to try to promote their husbands. So you get that there too.
And while Norman is kind of a controlling husband, he clearly loves his wife, and she clearly loves him. And the love story was really central to this. They support each other. They care about each other. I didn't like how he threw all of her spells clearly in the fire, but it was real that he loved her, right? And I liked that part of the film as well. It was a study in relationships, and they had a good relationship.
I like the cat.
I liked the cat too.
I like the cat.
Black cat, of course. You got to have that cue, that visual cue. Black cat means witchcraft.
Yeah, that's right. And I was like, and it didn't have to talk. It didn't have to do anything specific like that. It was just perfect. I like the cat. Oops, the fire got started. Oops, not the cat's fault. Going on to the whole thing. Yeah. Are we seeing anything in the chat room? Seeing Bottle of Grave. Yeah, I like that they use graveyard dirt. I'm kind of a graveyard dirt person, so that was pretty awesome to me. So in the story, you're looking for Wittershins. Did he know the word Wittershins, or that was her notes? Because would the professor know Wittershins?
It's in the book. Nope, I'm losing pages. This book's so old. I'm losing my corn pages. No, it's in the book. He wrote it into the book where the professor does something Wittershins.
Wow.
And I just can't find it right now. It's at the end of the book somewhere.
I will say, though, that when I think about the black cat, I thought, oh, go ahead, Heather. You found it.
No, I didn't.
You did.
Keep going.
Oh, one of the things about the black cat, though, I kind of found it exploitive, right? Because it was like they're going to zoom in on the black cat like there's supposed to be this thing that's scary that's happening. And oftentimes there was nothing scary happening. It was just a furry black cat. And I feel like in the American cut of this movie, with that really long, weird intro in the dark, where they're talking about, we are make sure that there is no spell that will get you in this movie. Like, they were trying to make it creepier than it actually was. And I felt like some of that was sort of exploitive.
I didn't like, but I know why they did it. Heather found it. Anyway,
yes, I found it. Go ahead.
I didn't like that when the eagle is flying, you can clearly see the string from its handler. But again, it was 1962. I can't fault it that much. It's an eagle in the mind, creatures of the id, and yet here is this string from the handler.
Yeah, that was very noticeable indeed. Yeah, but
also, too, like when you watch it on Amazon, it has these little things that you can click on. And one of the things that you can click on is trivia about it. And it's like, you can see the line from the eagle, right? Like you can see that string. So once I saw that, when we got to that part of the movie, that's all I could focus on. Like, oh, there it is. And I'm like pausing the screen, like, there it is. There's the dude, right? I can see the handler. So sometimes I wish Amazon would not tell me things.
So here is the spell recipe. Are you ready? You're going to write this all down? So this is what the note read, and this is a spell that he does in the book. Take 4 lengths of 4-inch white cord and a length of gut. a bit of platinum or iridium, a piece of lodestone, a phonograph needle that has only played Scriabin's Ninth Sonata, tie the 4 white cords into a granny, a reef, a cat's paw, and a carrick bend. Tie the gut in a bowline. Add a small quantity of grave dirt and wrap it all in a piece of flannel wrapping widdershins. Tell it to stop me. Tell it to bring me to you. And so that's the spell. And he mentions earlier that he has to. Widdershins means against the sun, from west to east. This is all in. And this is apparently a spell that he learned. And I'm not going to use the word he describes because it's a problematic word in our day and time. But yes, that's throughout the book. But there's spells like that. Now, some of the ingredients and stuff may seem a little odd, but the concept is there. Completely. And that's in the book. Someone said, was it something in the movie? This is actually the book I'm reading from. So you don't find this kind of stuff in the first movie, in the 1944 version, but this one clearly, that's what this one captured that the other two do not.
Wow. Okay, this is amazing. So, do we have any quotes in honor of Miss Courtney, which we love and we miss you, Courtney?
Read mine again. Jason, did you have quotes?
I think that the one, like the really misogynist one, was the big one, and then there's also the beginning, the ladies and gentlemen, the motion picture you're about to see contains an evil spell as used by practitioners of witchcraft for centuries. Even today, in many parts of the world, people practice black magic and witchcraft. Charms, amulets, voodoo candles. What the hell is a voodoo candle? Grave dirt and locks of hair are believed to ward off evil spirits and spells. You may doubt the effectiveness of these spells, but through every civilization, people have believed in witches. Could they all be wrong? I don't think so, for I've seen its power proven too many times. I am now about to dispel all evil spirits that may radiate from the screen during this performance. And now, with a free mind and a protected soul, we ask you to enjoy Burn, Witch, Burn. That, I like at the beginning of that, and I started watching this at 6 a.m. on my phone. I was like, is my phone clogging out? Like, because it's a black screen while this is being said. And I thought that like maybe I was losing the picture or something. But it's a very weird way to start the film. But yeah, the other quote that I liked, you said.
My favorite line is burn, witch, burn, when she's burning the effigy of Tansy and the house.
Yes.
Which, by the way, is a much better title than Night of the Eagle.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just putting that out there.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Night of the Eagle says nothing.
Night of the Eagle. No, not about the eagle. So, okay. That's all the quotes we have. Those are the good ones. And thank you, Jason. That was lovely. Jason, I guess we're moving into the Mankey movie trailer.
Yes, this is an old-fashioned trailer before I just began to do anything that I wanted during these 2 minutes. So here we go in trailer voice. In the history of motion pictures, there has never been a movie as vile and evil as Burn, Witch, Burn. In truth, it might not even be a movie at all, but a seance, a conjuring, a ritual to bring forth the devil himself, an ode to demonic forces that want to subdue you and all of your loved ones. Only God and the saints can deliver you from the immoral and sinful acts found in Burn, Witch, Burn. With your own eyes, you will witness a masterclass in terror as a suburban housewife attempts to use magic and witchcraft to help her husband ascend the corporate ladder of a small English university. Shield your eyes from wickedness that is a bridge game by that university's faculty. Shiver with fright as that housewife, Tansy Taylor, places a good luck charm in her husband Norman's suit jacket. Dread will overtake you when her sinister protection puppets are revealed. Don't look under that table or you'll find a deadly charm meant to keep a person's loved ones from harm. You'll scream when Tansy's locket is opened up to reveal some herbs, and a picture of the husband she loves so much. Are you ready for such horrors, such terrors? Will you ever sleep with the light off again? Prepare yourself for angst and unease when Tansy the witch doesn't call upon the devil or raise any demons to help her husband. Fear will overtake you when Tansy boards a public bus full of people so that she might obviously hide out in the seaside cottage she shares with her husband. The hairs on the back of your neck will stand up when Tansy chooses to diabolically offer herself to dark forces by taking a midnight swim so that her husband may live. Recoil in shock from the sinister forces of a university faculty all desperate for a promotion. What backstabbing may come from such selfish ends? And if one uses magic, what price might they pay? When you wish for a death, does death come instead for you? Perhaps the greatest danger of all are stone eagles not properly secured to the buildings they stand watch over. Disclaimer, no witches were actually burned in the making of this film.
Didn't the Eagles sing Witchy Woman? I think the Eagles did sing Witchy Woman.
They did,
think
yes.
so.
They were inspired by this film when they saw it in a hotel room in London with the
Are you
original
being
title.
serious right now?
No, I'm not.
I think he just made that up.
All right. Now we vote. We want to know all of you in the chat room. Wands up, wands down. This might be kind of obvious on our little film here.
No, I'm just kidding.
Now, up, 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 up. We can't sing that song. Okay. Look at, we are wiggly up. We have full up. Okay, you guys in the chat room. Silly mortals, peep. We've got wands up. Everything's scared and alone. Wow, this I can't. Can anybody remember the last time we had a unanimous within the coven themselves?
We've had a few, but I don't remember any of them.
There's a
Your
couple.
Talisman is wands up. Witchy Woman is my favorite song. Yeah, Witchy Woman is still one of my favorite songs. So, all right. Well, we've got a lot of wands up. We have not seen a single wands down yet. But if anybody out there, don't be afraid to say wands down. Courtney is not here to hex you. And there was no Salem incorrectness in this film. So this Courtney would have been okay. Wands up.
I do have a Courtney moment though. Like
Okay.
when Tansy walks to the beach, don't you just hear Courtney in the back of your mind going, "Don't be Witch of the Sea, don't be Witch of the Sea," or whatever that movie she hates so much is, right?
The witch of the sea, which came from the sea.
Yeah,
The Witch of the
the
Sea.
witch came from the sea. Yeah, don't be the witch that came from the sea.
Wouldn't she be saying,
blame
watch
her.
out for the ghost shark?
Ouija shark.
That's another movie.
Ouija shark.
Ouija
that's
shark.
what- That was it.
Ouija shark.
Ugh.
That's a different movie.
Okay, well,
It's-
this has been unanimous across the board, even from our beautiful chat room. Thank you guys. What are we watching next week? Oh, it's Academy Award week, Oscar film. So what should be people to be watching or talking about? What do we tell our peeps?
Look for the movies, find the lists, and find the ones we've reviewed here, like Sinners or Weapons or K-pop Demon Hunters and a number of other witchy films that we've watched. Watch those, rewatch them, re-enjoy them, and we're going to talk about them all next week and then see who wins.
Yes, our own Oscar party. You guys, thank you for coming in. Does anybody have anything coming up that they want to talk about? Paganicon.
They got a gun.
Well, who's going to talk about it? No. Go ahead, Patty. You talk about it.
We're going to Paganicon. Yay, my first time. Thank you. I had an in with Heather and Jason. Anybody want to go to Minnesota, right? That's where it is, Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's a whole weekend. I'm only going to be there the first half of it, but we're going to be doing all sorts of magical things about dolls and witches and movies, and we'll figure out on the plane out there. But Paganicon.com, correct? And you can come join. At least meet 3 of us. Who knows? Maybe some more people will come out. It'll be great. We'll have our books there. 3. I'm also doing the last half of the weekend. If anybody wants to go to Talk to Ghosts with me in Boyd, Minnesota, I'm doing that. So lots of good things. Anybody else have anything coming up that we could watch or go to or hang out with? No.
Organicon is next.
Yeah, we're just excited to be with you, Patti.
I
Like,
know.
Heather and I are thrilled.
I can't stand it. I got my tickets today. This is so good. Again, thank you, everybody in the chat room. You guys are great. We love your coming here, supporting us. Tell your friends. Like us, follow us on social media, on YouTube. It means the world to us. Do go to Mystery Control and get some. Well, you actually can't get power panties right now, but I like that Richard-Lael, because thanks to our current administration, we can't get power panties, but you can get spellcaster shirts. You can get Mystery Control, all sorts of things. My phone keeps talking to me to tell me we're done. No. But that's it. Anybody got anything to say? We want to thank Scarlett for coming in. Always your wisdom, your knowledge, your everything. Thank you, guys. Have a beautiful week. We have one more thing to do. It is 7 o'clock. Let's do it like a real witch, an English witch, whatever witch. 1, 2, 3. Yay!